Hi Warren, Graham Thomas here. How you doing?
Yeah, good, thank you.
Can you just give us an overview, Warren, of your selection thoughts for this one? Obviously, it's a bit different to previous tours where the last game before the series is a midweek game. This time you've got 7 days.
Yeah, and that's a part of the thought. We're looking at some combinations within the team, and also some players that we wanted to have another run out, and then a few players that we're looking to, have had some rugby and freshening up for next week, so they get a full week of training too.
How much of your test side is now fixed in your mind? How much is still fluid?
Oh, probably fluid in terms of 60-70%. We've got some thoughts on where we are. We want to see some players have another hit out this weekend. Like I said, look at some of those combinations. There's a few guys who aren't involved who we're pretty happy with, but it's still an opportunity for the side on Saturday and the players there to go and stake a claim as well. So we felt we learned a heck of a lot from last night's run out against the Box. We were disappointed with some of our turnover rate, but we got on top of that and much better in the second half. And we were really pleased with our second half performance and our strong and finishing over top of them. So hopefully we need to start better, and we need to make sure we're in that arm wrestle for particularly early on, and deal with their kicking game. So that's pretty much in our thoughts too.
You've got Alwyn on the bench. It's a remarkable recovery. Is he fit and ready to come on early on if need be, or would you try and bring him on late on?
No, he's not fit. That's why we selected him. Look, we wanted him to. We feel if he's going to put himself in contention, he needs 20 minutes. So we've had that conversation with him about. I know he's travelled and has arrived today, but if he's in contention for next week, he needs to have a run, and so we need a hit out for him. So that was why we wanted him to have that, and then for a few other players, they've been doubling up a bit, so they get an opportunity to rest and freshen up.
Right. So you'd be looking at 20 minutes, not anymore if someone needed to come off.
Well, if someone comes off, he's ready to go. So we wouldn't have brought him out unless he was 100% fit. That was part of the thing that he went back to Wales. He rehabbed. He's been taking a full part in the Welsh training. We've been looking at very closely at a number of videos of the training sessions that he's taken a part in, and if the medical team had been passed him fully fit, then we wouldn't have been here and come out. Right.
And Stuart Hogg back, Robbie Henshaw, how much of a boost for you is that?
Yeah, I mean, Hoggy's been a little bit unlucky in the last couple of Lions tours, and getting the eye injury in 2017, which put him out of the series, and then being in close contact with COVID, which has kept him out a couple of games. So it's good to have him back, and he'll be ready to go, sitting alongside me, and then Robbie Henshaw as well. So look, he had a fantastic Six Nations. We're looking forward to him getting back on the park and hopefully putting his hand up.
And a quick word on Josh Adams, become a father, could become a Test Lion next week. He must be flying.
Yeah, it was a pretty surreal day, really, when his partner Georgia had gone into labour. So we're absolutely thrilled for him and for her having a little daughter. So which is brilliant news. And the message to him was, look, we'll see how things go, and if she's had the baby before the team meeting, then he possibly would have gone out and started. But I think she had the baby after the full-time whistle. So he gets another hit out this weekend. He's had a great tournament, a great series so far, and we're looking forward to seeing him go out there and get on Saturday and hopefully celebrate the birth of his daughter.
And just lastly, Warren, South Africa still talking about the possibility of playing you playing against their A side this weekend. Why do you think they're still talking about that?
Oh, I have no idea. So I haven't heard that. As far as we're concerned, we're gearing up for the Stormers. It's a great opportunity for those Stormers players to have a chance to play against the Lions. They get that sort of, once in a lifetime chance. I'd hate to see that taken away from them. And, he's put out pretty much his top side against us last night, which is good. We've had a good look at them. And I don't see it as our role to prepare them for the Test series.
Great. Thanks, Warren.
Cheers.
Warren, it's Andrew McKenna from TalkSport. Can we just start? Obviously, we're a few hours on from last night's game. Can you just give us an update on potential bumps and bruises picked up from that game, please?
Anthony Watson, his hamstring was a bit tight and he's got a little bit of an ankle sprain, but he's okay. Alwyn Jones, just a sting in the shoulder, which is going to just need to be rested for a few days. And with Liam Williams, it's an HIA, so just going through the protocols a bit. Apart from that, a couple of sore bodies, but pretty much everyone's fit and healthy.
Looking at this game against the Stormers on Saturday, then, I mean, there was a massive step up in intensity last night. Is the key maybe for this weekend to keep the intensity at that level to take it into Test week?
Oh, I think that's really important for us, and we really benefited from last night. But yeah, particularly the first half, they came really hard at the breakdown and were really physical in the way they played, and it probably just took us the first 20, 30 minutes to come to terms with that physicality and speed, and then I thought we coped with it really well, particularly in that second half, and then put them under pressure, and then we showed some of our own armour in terms of our ability to pick and go. I thought we scrummed excellently. I thought that right at the end of the game, I thought we should have been awarded a penalty for our scrum dominance. That was reset. So there were lots of good things in terms of what we did. Defended them all pretty well. But there was no doubt that they were very aggressive at the breakdown, committed a lot of numbers and put us under a bit of pressure, and that did take us a little bit of time to adjust. And once we did that, particularly the last sort of 50 minutes, we got back into the game, and so for us, we're pretty aware and pretty happy with that hit out, and just knowing what's going to come next week, dealing with their kicking game. Right from the start, they put a lot of balls in the air, and so we've got to understand that and keep our patience and make sure we're accurate in the air, and a little bit not get bored of sort of matching their kicking game, because the way they defend was pretty aggressive. So sometimes, particularly early on, you've got to be comfortable in playing territory and wait for the opportunities to get the ball in their half.
And there's a lot of excitement about Marcus Smith. How much are you looking and excited to see him pulling on a Lion shirt?
Yeah, and look, there's no doubt he's developed as a player in the last 12 months or so, and he's had an outstanding year for Harlequins. He got a couple of caps for England, which is brilliant. He's a young man who's incredibly enthusiastic. He's a bit of a sponge in terms of sort of soaking up all the knowledge and talking to players within the group. There's no doubt he's got some real attacking prowess. He's matured significantly, and we're really excited about him having an opportunity to start. I think we were initially looking at him probably coming off the bench, but the message to him is just go out there and enjoy the occasion and make the most of it, and go and make a few people sit up and take notice.
And if I can just turn to Stuart for a couple. Stuart, well, I suppose first and foremost, welcome back. It must have been a very frustrating couple of weeks for you.
Yeah, it has been. But look, it is what it is. I've had to just get on with it and suck it up and get on with my job. I think for me, the main thing is that everybody's fit and well and healthy now. So that's the main thing. But yeah, look, I'm absolutely buzzing to be back. Hugely excited about another opportunity to represent the Lions, and yeah, we'll look forward to it.
While you've been isolating in your room and locked away, what have you been doing to pass the time? I imagine it's been an incredibly frustrating time. Have you sort of taken to, I don't know, learn a foreign language or something like that?
I think being able to speak English first is probably a start. But look, I think for me, the key was just to get into a good routine. It's a long old time to be hidden away. So yeah, getting my routine sorted and making sure that I was being as productive as I possibly could seemed to pass the time a lot quicker. But yeah, look, it was challenging at times. but a little kind of mini isolation group. We had a good bit of crack along the way and kept each other going. So I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. Honestly, it was a horrendous few days, but as I say, I'm delighted to be back.
Thank you, Stuart. Go well.
Thank you.
Hi there, this is Sarah Orchard from the BBC. As you're on my screen at the moment, Stuart, just backing up what you've just been saying there, do you feel that this opportunity has been building for you for a while following that disappointment from the last tour?
I think for me, it was something that I kind of kept quiet to and almost to myself for a long time. I think the experience I had in 2017, I felt going into that tour that I'd been playing some good rugby. And to have it kind of taken away from me was bitterly disappointing. But it probably took me, a good year and a half, 2 years to get over it and get back up and running and get excited about playing rugby again. But yeah, look, I had the hunger and the drive to try and get back here. And as I say, I kept it to myself. But my focus all along was to make sure I got give myself every opportunity to represent the Lions again. And now that I'm here, it's about making the most of it. It's been a lot of hard work along the way. But since getting here, the hard work's continued, and as I say, I'm delighted to be given another opportunity, and hugely excited to go out there at the weekend.
And Stuart, just one more for you before I go back to Warren. How was it for you watching last night's match, and what did you make of it?
Yeah, I was a hugely physical encounter. The boys really dug deep at times. The kind of biggest thing that we've looked at during the process of this tour is that not everything's going to be perfect, but if we commit to absolutely everything we can, we're going to be in a good position to win games. And at times last night it wasn't ideal for us, but I thought our ability to bounce through mistakes and get on with the next job was absolutely outstanding. And as Warren says, we've kind of seen exactly what the South Africans are going to come with, and that excites us. We feel we're in a very good place, and we'll start to gear up and get excited about the next few weeks.
Thanks, Stuart. Good luck on Saturday. If I can just ask a couple quickly to Warren, just a little bit of housekeeping, Warren, if that's all right. Alwyn Jones being on the bench, you did tell us yesterday that you thought he would have to isolate. Was that perhaps just a little bit of mind games that you were trying to keep him in your back pocket?
No, it was just making sure that he came and they've been tested, so they've passed the COVID tests, which was negative. So we needed to check on that and make sure that was done. Make sure that they got here safely and were fit. And then we just looked at the options and spoke to Alun, spoke to the medical team about the ability to put him on the bench, and so we went ahead to do that because we felt that if he was going to be in contention next week, that he needed to have a hit out. To prove 100% that he was fit and ready to go.
And lastly from me, Warren, who will be your backup fly half on Saturday with no Owen, Farrell and Dan Biggar? Is it the gentleman next to you?
It will be, yes.
Brilliant. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thanks.
Hi, Warren. Owen Slots here. Couple of quick ones. Dan Biggar, you said could have played yesterday because it wasn't a bad ankle turn, but he's not named for this Saturday. Is it a problem or not?
No, it's not. It's one of those ones that if we give him a bit more time, then he's going to be fully ready to go on Monday for training. And it's one of those ones that if he plays and it's going to be okay, but it's probably going to be sore afterwards. So it's kind of that sort of managing that situation that, if it's a test match, he would have fronted up and been ready to go. But it's just, we want to make sure that everyone gets a full opportunity, and anyone who's carrying any niggles, we freshen them up so we can have a full week of preparation and training. Sometimes it's always difficult if players miss the first part of a week because they're carrying a couple of niggles to, particularly with this first test, have everyone fit and ready to go. So we could have played him, could have been available for Saturday, but just giving them a bit more time.
You're on mute, Owen.
Sorry, Courtney Lawes has been absent from the team sheet for a couple of games now. Is he fit?
He's fit, yeah. He's had he had a lot of time early in the tour, and he was involved in a lot of games. Again, another one we're freshening up. We're really happy with the way he's contributed in playing. He's had a bit of a stiff neck and stuff that's kept him out a bit of the contact stuff. So again, just making sure that we manage him as well. But so look, there's nothing wrong with him. It's just, again, from his early involvements and the amount of minutes he had in those early games, it's just, again, giving him a bit more time so he's fresh and ready to go for training and available for selection next week.
The Faf de Klerk yellow card, do you have any concerns about that? Because that might have been a red back at home.
Well, I can't understand when the comments were that there was no contact with the head. You know, it was, someone was watching a different picture to me. So, yeah, I agree. I thought it looked reckless to me, no arms, and there was definitely, you know, he's hit the arm first and then the shoulder, but there's definitely a head on the head contact. So we've got a meeting with the referees tomorrow, and just to get a little bit more clarity on that, just so that what we want is some clarity so that we get complete consistency.
You can't cite or anything. I mean, that's a done deal. That's finished, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, they have a citing commissioner who looks at those things. So it'd be interesting to see what the referees come back with, and what you know, other people that have looked at it come back with in terms of what the recommendations were for that incident.
And just one final one. There's been some interest about who will play 9 in the Test series. Is Ali Price got a chance of playing his way into that starting shirt?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, we've been pleased with the way that he's gone. Actually, he's looked sharp. He's kicked well. He's worked really hard on his kicking game, so his kicking's been excellent. He's got that left foot variation. He's made a couple of nice breaks. He's defended well too. So look, he's had a really good tour. So, you know, it's a really good game for him to play on. So give him an opportunity to put his hand up.
Great, thank you very much.
Hi Warren, Will here. You haven't managed to get Owen, Farrell and Dan Biggar playing together. Is that a combination that could work in your mind, even though you haven't seen it on the field yet? Or is that not an option for you now that you've not played the two together so far?
No, it's still an option. I mean, we haven't had that opportunity to play those two together the way that things are gone. I think the first thing is we want to see how that midfield combination with Robbie and Elliot goes as well. So that's the first time that they would have had that together, and you know, hopefully Robbie's fit and has an impact on the game. You know, we have got other options, and definitely that 10-12 combination. We know that with his experience at Owen could easily fit into that 12 position. So it's not something that, because we haven't used it, that, you know, we wouldn't potentially consider.
With your experience of all those previous tours, in this position, a week out from your first Test selection, have you felt in previous years you've been more clear about what you think your Test side is going to be, just with what's happened on this tour and the disruption of things? Is it going to be your hardest one yet next Thursday?
Yeah, it's gonna be tough. We had a good discussion with the coaches today in terms of looking at the side for Saturday, and then we started to think about next week without really putting too many names to it. But we were thinking it's not just about the starting 15. It's about looking at the combination and potentially guys coming off the bench and what sort of impact that they could have, and having the right players on the bench. And sometimes just in the past, and I know my experience with Wales when we had that successful run, was that sometimes we had probably the better starters sitting on the bench, but they're also the better finishers. And so you just got to look at the individuals and think, you know, is someone a better starter, and then someone would have more of an impact on the bench. So we're kind of having those discussions about players in the squad and how that may look, because, you know, we know how physical these games are going to be, but we want some energy and some real impact for players coming off the bench. And so we're starting to look at those sorts of things. And, you know, I thought the impact of those players coming off the bench last night was excellent. You know, Luke Cowan Dickey, I thought Marco Vunipola was really good. I thought Xander Ferguson carried well. So, you know, Sam Simmons too. You know, Elliot Daly had quite a lot of time. So those are sorts of things that we're discussing at the moment and thinking about for selection next week.
Hi, Warren. Could you maybe just sort of elaborate on post-Stormers game? What happens in terms of that test selection? Is it similar to the squad where all the assistant coaches would write down their 23 and then you sort of pick out the common names, or is it entirely your call?
Yeah, but we probably go through that process. Yeah, so I think the important thing is that now we're together and that it's just a squad, it's one team. It's about just looking solely at the individuals. It's not and making sure that we pick the best players there. There'll be nothing spoken about where they come from, whether it's England or Scotland, Wales or Ireland. It'll be just about our thoughts on putting out the best possible 15 and the best 23 to do a job. So haven't thought too much ahead about whether we had a selection meeting today, and the coaches, as I do, we all come with our thoughts on what we think the team should be for the weekend, and pretty much we're about 90 or 95% in agreement, having written down the same names, and then we discuss some options and go through the process. So that's very similar to what we'll do after the weekend as we start thinking about the test side.
And Graham asked you earlier about Rassie's comments. Were you in any way disappointed that he sort of insinuated that A, you were scared to play South Africa A again, and B, that was the safest option?
I don't know. I think he was just trying to wind us up by saying we were scared, which he's sometimes is capable of doing. I thought last night, he's the water boy and running on the pitch. But the thing, if you're the water boy running onto the pitch, you got to make sure you're carrying water. So I don't know didn't kind of understand what his role was. You don't run onto the pitch giving messages and stuff if you're the water boy without carrying the water. So my advice to him is make sure he's carrying water next time when he does that. So.
And just to confirm, you're not scared of them in any way after Wednesday night?
No, we're pretty excited about that. I mean, it was a physical game. It's going to be physical. We will be pretty pumped for next week, and so we've got to start well. We know it's coming, and I thought that they'll have some pretty sore bodies today. We went in there working on some things. We showed that our maul defence, we scrummaged exceptionally well. I thought some of our pick and go stuff, they probably weren't expecting that, but gave us an opportunity to work on those sorts of things. And from an attacking perspective, we probably weren't as clinical as we will be, but we think there were opportunities out there that we probably left behind. So that'll give us some things to work on for this weekend and for next week. And I thought we looked really strong in that second half. We looked fit, and so that's a real positive for us. And the guys were pretty bullish in the change rooms afterwards, thinking that we can win this series.
Thanks.
Hi, can I have a question for Stuart, please? Hi, Stuart. Graham Bean from the Scotsman here. Are you able to tell us how many days you were actually stuck in isolation, and also give us an idea of what you were able to do to try and keep your fitness up during that time?
Yeah, it became a little bit easier once the boys and everybody in the touring party left. We got a little bit of time to spend in the gym, and managed to sanitize it down about 1 million times whilst being in there. So yeah, I got a chance to do everything that I possibly could. Obviously, I was kind of carrying a little knock after a training session, but I'm all good now, and excited to get going again.
Thank you. Cheers.